My name is Debbie.lee Miszaniec, and my process is really very research and analysis and then intuitive oriented. So with the process exhibition, what happened first of all was the observation for me. So 2017 I'd gotten together for coffee with a fellow alumnus. We graduated the same year, we were about the same age, and we had both arrived at the same sort of creative revelation at about the same time. And we shared them, and it was just really interesting to me that we had both come to this revelation at the same time. And so I wondered to myself, I wonder if there is like a certain age that this would be attached to, these certain creative stages that you, revelations you might come to, or if it was like a time-based thing that, you know, at a certain point in time after you've gone through the beginning of your creative journey, you would arrive at certain milestones. So for me, this was like super interesting, and it was something I wanted to investigate more. And I mean, really, why would you want to investigate that? Who wouldn't want to know what might come next? And if you can kind of start predicting things, when you'll get where, right? So with the exhibition process, we had 5 artists, and we had like a 20-year age span among us. We had various different socially constructed identities, backgrounds, experience levels, all of these things, belief systems. But at the same time, we had all gone to college about the same time. We had all gone to art education between 2004 and 2008, graduating the same year. So I thought, well, this is just like a wonderful laboratory to explore this idea and see if I could figure some things out from it. So I approached my collaborative project as basically a research piece. And I brought a journal which I had all of the artists contribute to their life journeys. So when I got this back, I had this wonderful research, all this research, but how to make sense of it. Fortunately, I had happened across some writing by Michelle and Robert Root Bernstein, Life Stages of Creativity. And this was really good for me because they had done a lot of the research already and sort of synthesized this into sort of a 3-stage process that went across creativity for many different kinds of fields, right? From science, mathematics, music, literature, all of these sorts of things. So I could really use that as a framework to analyze the journal. So then I was looking at that, and I was able to move on to sort of my next stage, which is synthesis or intuition, where I can kind of take what I've learned, all the little bits and pieces of information, and make sense of them, and then extrapolate outward into a work of art. And what I came to was this conclusion that there's actually 4 stages in the creative lifespan of a visual artist that include incubation. That's everything before you actually decide to commit to really getting into this field and learning about this practice. Then there's the challenge stage. So for us, that would be embodied by the start of our art education, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you've enrolled in a formal education. You've just really immersed yourself in this place, in this thing. And at this point in time, you're sort of really challenging yourself, right? You're trying to prove to other people that you know what you're doing, or prove to yourself that you know what you're doing, or that you can make things that are acceptable or that are not acceptable, or whatever it is that you feel are the hallmarks of being part of this new field. And then in the 4th stage, I think that's when you really sort of find your voice, because you're not trying to prove anything to anyone anymore. You're just kind of trying to say what you need to say, what you see out in the world, or you don't see out in the world. You're putting it out there because you need to see it. And then in the 4th stage, and this one is really like an extrapolation for me, and I owe this one for the most part to the Root Bernstein literature, because I'm not there and no one in my group is there yet, which leads me to believe that it's like basically a time-based thing, not an age-based thing. 10 years from the outset of education is perhaps when you realize that you just need to make things, to express your own requirements. And that would be refinement. So really you are already saying what you need to say, you're just saying it more, saying it better, finding the best way to say it. So what that led me to is to do my own individual pieces for the show. as an interpretation of that text to my own creative journey.